Hey, what's up, y'all? How y'all doing? I'm back. Cheers. How y'all doing? Welcome to another episode of the Analytical Eye Show. It's your boy Javier. You know who I am. I want to apologize. Had to take more time off from the show, which I hate, because I recently got sick again. I've been under the weather. As you guys know, I had caught COVID, and then just about the last 2 weeks, I've been underneath the weather and going through stuff with my car. Or it's not like I say my truck, because it's actually a truck. It's a big truck. So yeah, that happened. So and then I got sick again. I had a really bad headache this past week, and it's been going through a lot lately. So I apologize. And when I'm sick, I'm sick. It is what it is. I can't, try to push through. But lately, I just haven't been able to push through. My mindset has been just like, Javier, you ain't pushing through. Rest and then get back to work. I usually am able to push through, but lately I haven't. But I appreciate y'all for rocking with me. So I hope y'all having a good Saturday. Like I said, cheers again. So this episode, which was supposed to be 2 weeks ago, the part 4 pre-premiere episode to the show. And I know it's like, well, you keep prolonging what's the actual premiere? And I have a good episode for you guys tomorrow on Sunday, what we'll be talking about. But this episode, briefly, I want to talk about is, which I mentioned, what I was going to be discussing, inflation. Now, I'm actually glad that I kind of got sick the last 2 weeks, because it kind of sparked my brain. Sometimes things happen in accordance to how God calls it to be, because me getting sick and everything that's happened the last 2 weeks was, it allowed me to be able to reflect on what I really wanted to truly say in this episode. Because initially I was going to talk about prices and food and how that increased over the last year, and how at the top of the year they talked about how prices and food was going to go up, what they say, like, what was it, 5.2% or whatever like that, and that was the lowest, the lowest that it was going to increase, but the highest could be higher than 5.2% or whatever the number of percentages that they were when I looked it up and saw the articles and news reports about it. But then I was like, I wanted to briefly discuss the gas prices, but then also home and apartment, like rental properties, why it's gone up so much. And I'm not necessarily here to give you facts and statistics about it. I'm just here to give you my thought about it and how I think it's ridiculous in a sense, because prices go up but our pay doesn't go up, and how I feel that Biden has fallen short on keeping his promise, like he said on the campaign trail he would. But then again, like I said, all presidents lie. They just say that just so they can get their foot in the door, and then they claim they got other important matters to attend to. But we all just know that's all talk. That's all just political answers and BS than what they say, because that's what they want to do, is get in the office. Everybody has that goal to get to the White House. They don't have a goal to serve the American people or serve the people. Bump being American, they don't. Their mission is not to serve the people. It's to serve themselves with inside the office at the expense of the people. A lot of the times, not majority of the times, but a lot of times it does seem like that, and it is that. That's just the bottom common denominator in the comment line for it. Ooh, my glasses are very, very dirty. But anywho, like I said, welcome to another episode of the Analytical Eye Show. So, inflation. Everybody know what inflation is, when prices go up and depression goes up, because we can't afford shit when prices go up. Rent prices are going up. Freaking, what? The housing market went up, what? From what was understood, what I heard per quote from my neighbor, was that it went up when she asked my apartment complex why they increased our rent. It's because they said it went up. I think she's just exaggerating, but they said it went up 300% or whatever like that. But then again, I believe she could be telling the truth, because the thing that shocked me is every year. Are you serious? That's a fucking scratch on my glasses? Wow. Okay. Sorry. I'm just cleaning my glasses a lot on them, but So I moved into my apartment complex in 2019, April of 2019. And every time I renewed my lease, the new rate went up about 20 something to 30 something bucks. So I said, hey, you know what? Starting when I renewed my lease last year, I said, you know what? That's cool. That's perfect. I'm just going to stay here for another maybe 5-6 years because these apartments aren't worth no more than $1,500. Not even $1,400, but I'll stay to the mid $1,400 range. And after that, I'll move out of the apartment complex into something else that's way better once I get more financially stable, graduate high school. Not high school, graduate college, get my degrees and start my business starts running and things like that. But then maybe even by then, I may even start wanting to look into getting a house. So I said, cool. So then my neighbor one day knocks on my door, or no, actually I'm by her house. So she shows me her rental agreement and it went up $300. And I'm like, for what? So I'm thinking maybe this is just her apartment complex because when I moved in, I had worked out an additional where they ended up lowering my rate $100 so that way I can afford the 3 times the monthly rent, which I don't understand why they have the rule in place because nobody in this world makes 3 times the monthly rent anymore. Nobody. I don't know where that rule came in. I don't know why they created that rule. I'm not going to look up that reason for that rule because I think it's stupid. There's nobody on this God green earth that makes 3 times the monthly rent. And if you make 3 times the monthly rent or are able to just to get an apartment, I feel like you should be able to get a house at that point because they shouldn't have to, you got to go through this, and you got to go through this, and you got to go make sure you got good credit. Gotta get a loan from the bank. You gotta what's that thing that Ice Cube was talking about? Escrow and all this other bull crap and tomfoolery you gotta go through just to get a damn house when you can prove. I feel like what should go on your credit score is your rent. Every time you pay your rent, it should go on your credit score. Your credit score should be going up at least 10 points every time you are that's honestly what I feel because come on now, we're paying $1,500 in rent. That's a house. That's a mortgage payment. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that should be on your, on your credit score, if anything. So back to what I was saying. I would plan on living here at last year, stating that when I start renewing, I'll stay here for another about 5 or 6 years because I'll get to the mid range of $1,600, and that will be perfect. After that, I'll move out. But then when I got my renewal release, it was the same as my neighbors, but a little cheaper because of the agreement I worked out with my apartment company where they lowered my rent $100 so I can fit right at the cusp. Me and my grandmother on the lease can fit 3 times the monthly rent. So when I got my lease renewal, I was like, what the fuck? I can't afford this shit. The freaking lease renewal went up $200. I was paying $12.60 when I first got here. Initially, it was supposed to be like $13.20 or something like that, or no, it was like $13.60, and then they lowered it $100, so I could fit the 3 times monthly rent. Then the following year went up to $12.90. Then the following year, $13.23. Now this year I'm at $15.63 or something like that. It's a whole $200+ increase on my rent. Ridiculous. So then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go up to the apartment complex and be like, look. You need to remodel my apartment then, because this is not about to be right. So when I started going up there to discuss certain things, they're like, oh well, we can do a remodeling on your place or renovation on your place, but it will be an additional $100 on your rent. So then instead of you paying $1,500 for the current model you have, you would pay $1,600. I said, what? Are you serious? These apartments aren't even worth $1,600. Your customer service ain't even worth $1,600. So I just find it really ridiculous. And then they blame it on the house market. And then they say because of COVID, the house market has gone up. And I'm like, well, people are buying less. People are moving less. How is the rent going up so high? And yes, I should probably do my research so you guys can know and I can know. But I feel like the only true reason why I'm even complaining is because as people, we're not complaining because the rent is high. Ooh, there we go. I can see better. We're not complaining that the rent is high. We're complaining because we can barely afford it. That's the true issue. The bottom line is we're as people complaining about prices not because they're going up, but because we can barely afford them. And then where does this fall into play? Our pay Biden promised that he would put the federal minimum wage at $15 an hour, and he had the opportunity to do that when he had initially signed the stimulus checks. First of all, where's our stimulus checks? We still need those. We need more of those. A lot of people still need more of those. Our Florida rental program canceled out. They don't do that no more. So people are now becoming homeless. They're talking about a recession, and which I think is warranted because people can't afford shit. You know what I'm saying? I work in an agency which is the lowest federal agency in all of the agencies of the United States. TSA is the lowest paid federal agency of all the other agencies, which I find ridiculous. U.S. postal workers make more than us, and our job is, I feel, more serious than a lot of people think. But that's a whole nother topic. But like I said, a lot of people, I feel like, yes, there's the complaint about prices going up. But if you truly dig deep, you will find that we're not complaining because the prices are going up. We're complaining that the prices are going up, but we can't afford those prices. And why? Why hasn't our pay gone up? The demand and the supply has gone up, but the pay has not gone up. And if you've ever learned in economics, whether in high school or even just in history class, they teach about supply and demand, even outside of economics, the economics course that I took. You see that supply and demand are things. Supply is what is the product. The demand is the customers, which are like the consumers. Both of those is high. Why hasn't then our pay gone up? So then we can support these things. You know what I'm saying? And so I just don't understand that. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like our initially, before Obama was in office, correct me, I could be wrong, I can't remember, which I can look up now, but this is supposed to be a brief episode. I don't want to keep you two guys too much of your time. I do want to delve more into this in a deep topic and discussion of this. But the federal minimum wage, if I was understanding, was before Obama got into office, it was like $3. The federal minimum wage. Now, let me explain something to you. So there's a state minimum wage and a federal minimum wage. Each state has their own minimum wage, and then there's a federal minimum wage. So, for example, the federal minimum wage, from my understanding, is still the same, which is like $7.25. So, which meaning is that a state's minimum wage cannot fall below that, which means the federal government saying you cannot pay someone no less than this amount for them to be able to afford to live. Which I find that $7.25 is nowhere near being able to live. It almost should be illegal that this type of stipulations are put. And so then when you look at waiters, they basically make less than the minimum wage, the federal minimum wage, because then they would make more. It's believed that you would make more off your tips. That's why a lot of people are so heavily on tipping waiters and stuff like that. But then if you look at the law, it states, when I was reading about tipping, is that a waitress can file on their taxes, their tips, and claim that the money that they would make as a minimum wage, if they were getting paid that federal minimum wage, if they made less than that, say for example, you're full-time, $7.25 an hour times 40 times, 52 weeks, and that's what your gross is. Then you take that, if a waitress made less than that, then they can go and put in that on their taxes, hey, I made less than this, and then reap more money back on their refund, on their return check, because they didn't get that money earned that year. You get what I'm saying? So let me do the math for you. So, say for example, without let's bump the tips from a waiter. The federal minimum wage is $7.25 times 40 hours per week, because that's full time. That's $290. Now you multiply that times 52 weeks. That's $15,080. I pay more in rent. If I paid last year $1,323 times 12 months, I paid $15,000. Mind you, the federal minimum wage times 40 weeks, which is times 40 weeks is $290 per week, times 52 weeks in a year. This is how much money I make. $15,080 off of a minimum wage. Now, keep that number in your head. My rent last year, $1,323 times 12 months, Look at that. $15,876. Now, mind you, the federal minimum wage does not include the taxes that they take out. That doesn't include the state taxes, your federal taxes, the OSDI, which is the Medicaid or the Medicare, all the other stuff that comes out, your check, the disability, all that stuff. That doesn't count for that. So already in the hole, oh crap. Sorry, my math. So already I'm in the hole for a negative of $796. And this is the federal minimum wage. So you can attest to think about how much. So then a waiter can go in and put that, hey, they didn't make this amount on their check. Not this amount specifically. But I'm just saying, say for example, the federal minimum wage is saying that, okay, you would make at least 15 grand a year. As a waiter, they can go in and claim, hey, I didn't make this amount, and then file this on their taxes. You get what I'm saying? So with that being said, that's why people are a lot on heavy duty of making sure waiters get a good tip. But Biden was supposed to raise the minimum wage to $15. But technically, if you did your rough calculations from what people have been saying, the minimum wage federally and statewide should be no more between the ranges of $27 an hour to $35 an hour. That's what that's what the minimum wage in every state should be right now. Now, my question was always, why does every state have a different different minimum wage? And then they said, well, it's because of the cost of living there, the cost of production there, stuff like that. I feel like if we're a united states, a united front, every state should have their own state taxes. Every state should have their own federal tax. Every state should have federal taxes. The percentage should be the same. High class should pay more. Low class should pay less. And the minimum wage for every state should be the same, no matter what state makes more money, no matter what state makes this, no matter what state makes that. Because if we all are paying the same, we are reaping the same. We all can endure and endure the fruits of our labor the same. You get what I'm saying? But beyond that, Biden dropped the ball on that. We should all be making more. And now certain states like Florida have signed into law over the next couple of years, raising the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour. But that should be something now. And like I said, we're not complaining the prices are going up. We're complaining we can't afford the prices because we're not getting paid the same. We're not getting paid more. Come on, I went to freaking Sam's and I always get the 10-pound bag of chicken wings. They used to be they started at $17.99, went up to $18.99, then went up to $19.99, then went up to $20.99, then went up to $20. But between the same year or so, went from $21.99 to $22.99. At the top of this year, guess how much those chicken wings were? $34 or $35.99. And I was like, oh shit, okay, damn, that's fucking ridiculous. I was like, okay, maybe it's gonna go down. It has not gone down. It's gonna stay that way. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Why hasn't our pay gone up? We also talked about, which I kind of mentioned briefly, about the wants and the needs of how a president makes less than a basketball player. Because the need is I felt like we needed, the need is devalued more than the want. And our needs are really devalued. You know? For example, I came across this ad on YouTube, or this picture. I was trying to find it. But it was basically stating how houses back in between the era of the 50s and the 70s, houses used to be 42 grand. And then you would make only a payment of $42 a month, monthly, on your rent, your mortgage. Now, I started thinking, because one of my grandmothers, she was thinking about selling her house. They offered her anywhere from the range of $1.1 million to $1.5 million. She bought the house and her in between the, let's see, because she's in her 80s now. She bought that house in the 50s, right? Because at that time she would have then been 30, right? No, my math is off. She's 80 now. She would have no correction, no. She bought the house in like the early 80s, like late 70s, early 80s. That house during that time had to have been worth no more. They got the house for definitely no more than 100 grand. I know for sure that house was definitely worth no more than 100 grand. And now, being 40 years later, they're offering her anywhere from the range of 1.1 to 1.5 million dollars. That, just brushing off the top of my head with exaggeration of a comment, that seems like to me, with rough calculations, that definitely is well over 100%, 200% increase value on the house. Now, mind you, yes, she has done some renovation and added a back patio and other things to the house that was not there, but it's still the same. The foundation's still the same. She ain't changed much. That's how ridiculous the market has increased. But look at the pay. Why hasn't that increased to what it should be? Because if the minimum rate, which people are saying $27 an hour, times 40, times 52 weeks, the average Joe in America should be making $56,000 a year. That ain't the case. That ain't the case. But if we were to pay people that, then prices skyrocket to an unbelievable price, because now they say, oh, well, we're getting paid more, so then we are able to definitely afford more. But what they forget is us getting paid more is not to then be able to afford the luxury of all the things of technology and stuff like that. It's just to afford the basic minimum things so we can be ahead of our rent, ahead for rainy days. So like, i.e. when COVID happens, we have money. Do you realize America never helped us out when COVID hit? We were pretty much one of the only countries that we did not get any government assistance freely. Medical assistance freely. Every other country was paying their people to stay home. Even TSA, greatly, which I wish I got hired at the time, they only worked 1 or 2 days a week, but still got paid 40 hours. But that doesn't matter, because the other countries were paying people to stay home. No, you don't work, you don't do nothing, you stay home. Other countries have free health care. Other countries have free education, from all the way from kindergarten, ECE, pre-K, all the way up to the top-notch university there is. Free education. America talks about being wonderful, being great, a free country. You can do whatever you want, aspire to the dreams you want, the American dreams. That American dream thing is dead. It never existed and never will exist. Let's be real. These inflation prices are ridiculous. And I'm not putting out my frustration based off of every year. Yes, it's expected prices are going to go up. Value and things and technology and things are changing, improving, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Yes, it's so great. But where's the pay? We are in a modern day slavery when it comes to the pay aspect. Especially African Americans. And when I talked about that whole obesity, on that obesity episode about pay against our African American people, African American women that are more heavy set, telling you, man, it's crazy. So like I said, when you have prices where you can buy a house in the 50s, 60s, and 70s and 80s era, and your house is definitely no more than $100,000 worth, and you pay it off, and you build on it, and the equity of it, and the inflation of that goes up, because it's an appreciating value, not like a car, which is a depreciating value. And then now it's worth between the range of 1.5, 1.1, 1.5 million dollars. Tell you, man. And then I feel, because my grandmother, here's the thing I wanted to discuss. I felt like my grandmother shouldn't sell her house. Now, there's reasons why she wants to sell it, and I'm not going to divulge my family issues or personal reasons as to why I know, even without her actually saying so, but knowing why she wants to sell it. I think she shouldn't. Because black people, we've already lost so much. One of the biggest assets to a black person is property. It's not money. It's not food. It's property. Because that's the one biggest thing white people can't stand that we have. Look at the Black Wall Street. Look at the hotel owners that out in California. I'm not sure if you heard that story, but they owned a resort out in California, and the whites hated that they had it, so they came in and took over unlawfully. And just 1 or 2 years ago, the beautiful, sexy, handsome Governor Gavin Newsom finally gave that land back, alongside the people that helped to give it back. And sorry, that man is very attractive, I have to say that, so I'm just putting that out there. But anywho, that's our biggest asset. And I feel that her selling the land, not selling her land, selling the land, but selling her property, property, house, why sell it? Because this gentrification thing is happening in that area. And so what they would do is then tear down the house or remodel it in so much of a way that it's not the old structure, and then sell it and hawk up the price for it. And that's what gentrification does, and that's why I'm so against it, is because what happens is a white person will come in, say, hey, we're going to offer you this amount of money, $1.1 to $1.5 million. Oh, that sounds great. To a black person, you ain't never seen that much money before. Not all of us. I'm just saying, if you grew up in that type of stature where you've never seen that type of money, you're going to accept it. Then what they're going to do is tear down your house, all the memories that you created in that house, from the time that you put a hot comb to your daughter's hair, to the first time your baby took his first steps, or to the first time you had a cookout, or a homecoming party, or back to school night at your house, or Christmas time, or Thanksgiving, or what may have you. All that gets torn down. You don't get to relive those and have that pass that from generation to generation. You can walk into that house and feel the love that was there from over a century ago. It's going to be torn down. Then they're going to come in, rebuild it, make it and modernize it. Modernize the look of it. Then they're going to sell it for $2-3 million. And they're going to continue to do that over and over and over again. And then they're going to start creating redlining around it, so that way you can't come back in because you ain't got nowhere to go, because everywhere else has hopped up their prices too. Then you try to come back in, can't happen. Because not only have they redlined it, which is a racially ambiguous thing that they're doing now, and it's still legal to do redlining, which is racism and lawfully, but they're doing it, especially in the southern areas. Now you can't come back in and live. Where you gonna go? What you gonna do? All because of inflation. And also all because we don't got no pay. All because disability and Social Security and all these other things. Thankfully, my mom has gotten into a place and got her own place now, based off of the Social Security she makes. She only pays no more than $170 in rent, but she gets Social Security, which is only $800 a month. Thankfully, with all that included, she's got a place, and it's really decent. I can't wait to go back home and visit it. But it took her so long to get into it, because the need is so much devalued versus the want. We want your money, but what you need, living, healthcare, pay, that's a need. That's devalued. We don't care about you like that. So then when a recession happens, the stock markets go down, the Dow goes down, all this shit goes down, the economics go down, and then the rich people want to start taxing us more because now they can't live more comfortably, because now they're worried about, they may have to start worrying about living paycheck to paycheck. Come on now, y'all. That's why I'm saying property is our biggest asset, because when we have the property, We had our own bus system. We had our own mailing system. We had our own hotels. We had our own stock market. We had our own this, that, and the third. They came and burnt that down. And Black Wall Street was not the only one in Tulsa, Oklahoma that had that. There was other massacres that happened where they took our land and took our areas because they knew we had property and that we can now start making on our own without them, without that Wall Street, without the Dow, without the New York Stock Exchange. Without them, we can strive. Why do you think the pay ain't gone up? Why do you think that our properties getting taken? Gentrification is such a thing, and it's a hot shot commodity. Don't fall into the trap that everybody is the same way, because it's not. That thing may look good, but it's not. So yeah, they may come in, offer you all this ridiculous money, and I'm no judgment to my grandmother, but I wouldn't sell it. I would not. And I understand her reasons behind it because of after she's dead and gone, what could happen to it. But, and then there was talks, even her, honestly, I just feel it should stay in the family. Truthfully. It's just crazy at how much these prices is going up. I see why. Over time, as time changes, prices are going to go up. But so does the pay. Remember when you can able to walk into a gas station, like Steve Harvey said, you can go put your gas on the little lever thing and have it click there, hold it there, you run inside while your gas tank fill up, you come out, you've gotten a hot dog, a drink, or an icy, or a candy bar, something, Sorry, there's something flying in my face. God, I don't know if y'all see it, but it's flying all up in my face. You can go in and do that. And then come back out, your gas tank full. You got a full tank of gas, got you a little snack, got you something to eat. Let's go. Now you there pumping just to get $20. And you don't get 20.101. You got to get exact 20 because you on a budget. And for me, my biggest thing I remember growing up was making sure when I got a car was making sure I always had money for gas. Over anything. I make sure I have money to fill up that tank fully. And what I try to do is once it gets to the 25, the quarter mark, the 25% or the 1/4 quarter mark of gas, I fill up. I try to not let it definitely go past the half tank, because then I get you in the habit so that we make sure you're never low on gas. But sometimes I get to the quarter mark and then I have to fill up. So I've gotten to a point to where I've had it less than that. But when I talk to my boo, I'm like, boo, why you let it get all the way to E just so then you wait till the light comes on that you are low on gas, and that gives you approximately 20 more miles that you need to go get gas. Why wait to that point just for you to then be on the side of the road which has the lights on, wait for AAA to come get you so you can get some gas? Or you got to walk and get a canister, or hope that the nearest gas station got a canister so you can fill it up and then take it back. This ain't Pilot. This ain't Wawa. You know what I'm saying? So, I never understood that either. That was just a side note. That my friends do that stuff too. I never understand it. But these inflation prices, y'all. People working 2, 3, 4 jobs. Literally 4 jobs. Just to make ends meet. Not they're above their making the ends meet. They're just at the cusp of making ends meet. It's ridiculous. So I'm not calling on anybody to make a change in this regard. I'm not calling on anybody or protesting to Biden to put the law in effect, because he ain't gonna do it. Him and Kamala Harris ain't gonna do it. I'm you know what I'm saying. I'm still happy that if a black woman's in office, but there are some things they have dropped the ball on that they said they were going to do and they haven't been doing it. So, but that's just political. Everybody, they're all talk. I just feel that with inflation prices, it's getting out of hand. And like I said, the argument truly is not about the fact that the prices are going up. It's about the fact that we can't afford those prices based on our pay. And the simplest thing is increase our pay. The money is there. The companies, these companies that are even on the stock market exchange, New York Stock Exchange, on the Dow, whatever it is, publicly traded companies, private sector companies, the government, the money is there. There's money there. So anybody tells you that there isn't, there's money there. There's money, even money saved for a rainy day. There's money there. They're just penny pinchers. They're like a bird. They're cheap. Chirp, 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 chirp. Cheap, 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 cheap. You know? like the Braxton sisters would say. You know what I'm saying? Telling you, yo. These inflation prices are just crazy. And it's good to see the gas prices go down because at work, there was a conversation, which I may have mentioned this on the show, maybe not, about how Russia and Ukraine affected our gas prices, which I believe so it did, because there are those high, the cost of oil barrels has gone up, but not as high as the prices of gas. And like I had mentioned before, was that with inflation prices, there's a company that actually controls, which I think their name is OSHA or something like that, where they control the actual gas prices. It's not necessarily, and this is one thing I wanted to say in regards to that, and I'm going to be brief on this because I am running out of time. A lot of times, and this is what I wanted to mention. There's two more things I wanted to mention. A lot of times, gas prices are a political thing. So with the war, yes, it did affect our gas prices. Because a lot of times what we get our oil from is internationally because it's cheaper. And the cost of oil and the cost of barrel and oil over there is cheaper. So in Saudi Arabia or wherever, or Afghanistan, whatever like that, it's cheaper. So there was arguments at my workplace, or like not argument as in arguing, but like, debating and stuff, stating that, oh no, Russia and Saudi Arabia had nothing to do with our gas prices. Anytime there's a crisis, companies get scared and they're gonna hawk up the prices. Wanna know why? Because they want to save themselves for a rainy day. Also because they have international ties and they don't know where their company is going to stand after the war or after this is over with. So anytime there's a war, prices are going to go up. I'm glad to see prices are going down for gas. But I do believe that Russia and the Ukraine incident has something to do with our gas prices, because we get a lot of oil from international countries like Saudi Arabia and Afghanistan. Let's be real. That's one of the only big reasons why our army is over there. So I will say that. And the company that actually controls gas prices who is that damn company? Shit. Let me see if I can try to find it. Crap. I don't think I still have it, but it's fine. It's not that important. I was hoping to give you guys the actual name of the company who controls gas prices, but it's not that big of a deal to know. Oh, here we go. There we go. It's called what the hell? My phone is acting up. Yes. The company is called OPEC, which stands for, it's an intro-governmental organization, and it stands for the Organization of Petroleum exporting countries. Yeah. And so they mainly control our gas prices. And so I feel that they do this. Now, I kind of thought about it this way. Gas prices are political. Everything in the world is political. You want to know why? Because this. A lot of people are saying this. Oh, well, when Trump was in office, gas prices were low. We want Trump back because prices were low. The price on food was low. The price on gas was low. Oh, now Biden's in office and the price on everything has gone up. No, Biden didn't raise the prices. The private sectors, the farmers, this OPEC company, they raised the prices. And I feel like it's a lot of political game because you know why? Because then you can say, oh, if the private companies don't like a certain person that's in office, they will raise the prices. Then the common folk that go out and buy the shit and are the consumers, the demand, and they need the supply, they're going to complain. And then they're going to vote next time the election comes around an opposite way. And be like, you know what, we're going to vote for Trump again. We're going to vote for another person and not Biden again. Because the private companies, the public sector companies, the ones that control the prices, they don't like Biden. So they're going to raise the prices, cause us to change our vote next election, then lower the prices to someone who they like in office. You get what I'm saying? That's another thing for you to think about. It's another game being played. So it's our pay, but it's also a political game. And I hate that political talk and the political jargon. Every time somebody talks to your ass with a political, that you ask them a direct question and they give your ass a political answer instead of a yes or a no and explain the reasons of this or this. They got to say, well, this, and then they try to explain it away with some damn technological, educational, political answer instead of just giving you a direct, this is what it is, this is why, and what's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Because I just need you to tell me why Ben and Jerry did it. Not why Tom, Dick, and Wayne did it. I didn't ask for Tom, Dick, and Wayne. I asked for Ben and Jerry. If you want to give me Tom, Dick, and Harry, that's fine. But give me the Ben and Jerry first. And then give me the Tom, Dick, and Harry. And then there was another thing I wanted. There was this technological term that is going around now that's also part of inflation. Because when I went into Sam's, not this past trip, but the trip before last, which was like 2 months ago, I went into Sam's and I was buying a few things, just briefly. I went to the chip section. I was like, why the fuck did these chip bags look fucking small? I was like, maybe I'm tripping, but these chip bags are getting small. And the price on it has gone up. Do you know that chips are now $4.98 at Sam's? Remember back then they had that 2 for $5 sale where you go in and you Max get 2 for $5? Isn't chips a vegetable made out of potatoes? So I don't get this. Why is it so much now? And then there was this technological term that when I was talking with one of my coworkers about it. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can shoot. I'm gonna have to read through these things. Hold on. Hold on. There we go. It's called shrinkonomics. Now, shrinkonomics is basically where companies are creating the same product, raising the price, and lowering the quantity of what you get in your products. So, for example, you have a sour cream. Let's just take that. The Daisy sour cream. They usually give you, let's say, 20 ounces. And let's just give, for example, they charge you 20 ounces. They give you 20 ounces and they charge you $2.98 for those 20 ounces of sour cream. What they're now going to doing is either keeping the price the same or raising the price, but then lowering the ounces on what they give you. So, for example, 20 ounces last year will cost you $2.98. 20 ounces this year will cost you $4.98. Or 15 ounces will cost you $4.98. Shrinkonomics. That's another thing that's happening. Now, some people may explain that away by saying, oh, well, it's because our shrinkage is so high now. Like I've explained to you, I'm in retail. I've been in retail for 6 years now. Still going on 6 years. Shrinking is where stealing occurs. And a lot of times when stealing occurs, the company has insurance on that. That's what they claim. But then they try to say, oh, well, we have to raise our prices to cover the shrinking and the lost money that we could have had. instead of lowering your pay, because we're going to have to still pay you more each year, then the pay has to go up in some form or fashion. Like in Colorado, like I told you, they raise up $1. Down here in Florida, they don't do that shit. Don't know why. But Colorado, every year your pay rate goes up $1, no matter where you work. And then you get your yearly performance review pay raise if you do a good job and you know. So, company says, hey, we're supposed to, this year, off of Daisy Sour Cream, we were supposed to make $3 million. But with the shrinkage, we only made $2.5 million. Now that's a lot of them Daisy Sour Cream that went stolen. It's shrinkage. So now we gotta cover that. So here's what we gonna do. Instead of our insurance covering that money, because now that comes out of our pockets, so then we have to raise up the prices slowly but surely. What we're gonna do is now shrink the quantity amount that we're gonna give you, keep the quality amount, but raise the price. So the demand will still be the same. The supply will be less. The pay will be more in our pockets. That's what companies are doing as well. And that should be illegal. But technically it's not, because you want to know why? We demand it. But we don't notice these things. It's kind of like how there was this person, which Subway's getting sued again over their tuna being so fresh and real. There was a person that sued Subway a couple of years back, or about a decade, when they first were at that highlight promotion, the $5 footlong. I don't know if you guys know, but I always wondered why I never see those commercials or promotional ads or campaigns about the $5 footlong anymore. Would you want to know why? Because there was somebody out there that actually went and took a tape measure, measured out the footlong sandwich, and it wasn't actually a foot long. Now, a foot long is supposed to be 12 inches. It was not. It was like 11 point something. And somebody that had so much time on their hand decided to sue Subway and won the case. So Subway decided not to do the foot long thing anymore. That could be said being the same thing here. But the fight and the argument would be a little harder, because it would be about not only inflation prices, but quantity. But the quality is still the same. You know what I'm saying? So then there would be an argument in court about why is our prices going up and the quantity is less. But then, why is this all a problem? Because of our pay. And that's where it's going to lead us to another recession. And then, further down the line, we may end up in another depression. So, I hope you guys, got to understand what I'm talking about here. We'll be discussing more inflation and stuff like that over the course of this season with other things, but I just wanted to talk about recently my frustrations when it came to this and give you some of my thoughts and understanding and things of what one person may be saying versus one person may be saying, and what I do and what I think and what I agree with in regards to these things. If you can get on food stamps, do it. I said on last season, I don't promote laziness and I don't promote people using the government for negatively, because there's people that truly need help, and it does make it harder for people to get help. But if you're a college student, fill out that application for food stamps. Even if they give you $100 or $200, accept it, because everything's going up. You can't get a loaf of bread anymore. A loaf of bread is damn near about to be $4. A gallon of milk is getting up to fucking $5-6. A carton of eggs is damn near freaking what? Just one carton. Not the ones from Sam's where I get them in the stack, because I buy in bulk so everything's cheaper. But the stuff in stacks, like the singular ones at Walmart, just for 6 eggs, the ones in 6, that's like already what? 2, 3 something. Now, Walmart's not even Save Money, Live Better anymore. They're getting to the Kroger, Public, Whole Food, Sprout, Target category now. And then they had the audacity, when I walked into their store, to be promoting they're starting now pay at $12 an hour. Really? $12 an hour? And you proud of that? And on that note, I'm a bounce. But I hope y'all, I hope tomfoolery all around the board. But I hope y'all listened to me and not only heard what I said, but truly listened and listened to my frustration. I appreciate y'all so much. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, as you know, at Avia Vassal. And you can follow the show on The Analytical Eye Show. You can follow The Analytical Eye Show on Facebook, Instagram, at The Analytical Eye Show, and on Twitter, iAnalytical. I thank you guys so much for watching. Cheers to you guys. Hope you guys have a good Sunday. I will see you tomorrow for the premiere of The Analytical Eye Show, officially. And tomorrow we are going to be talking about the topic is going to be called portrayal of the mirror, and that's all I'm going to say. Now, before I leave, I want to give you guys the definition of the shrinkonomics, if I can find it. There ain't one, but I may be spelling it wrong, but whatever. Shrinkonomics, y'all. Shrinkonomics, shrinkonomics, inflation, pay. Three things that was discussed in this episode. Think about it. Think about it long and hard. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. I would love to hear what you guys have to say about it. We got to have a conversation past this episode. Let's spark the whole point of this show is to spark more conversations to be had about these things that nobody's really thinking about, or are thinking about but just not talked about. These daytime talk shows, nighttime talk shows, late night talk shows, they ain't talking about this. They have celebrities on their shows talking about music and movies and all that stuff is great. The glitz and glamour, the life of it, all that good stuff is great. But we need to talk about the shit that's suppressing the 99% and not celebrate the 1% all the damn time. I get it. I want to escape my reality and watch. When I look at other people's stuff, I want to escape my reality into their world for a second. But sometimes I need that world to be discussed and what the hell's going on in my world. So it's not about us feeling alone, but it's about now starting to highlight some of the BS that's going on within our world to get it uncovered and dealt with. But I love y'all so much. I love my black people for real. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Again, make sure you check out The Light of the Sunday. That'll be premiering tomorrow. And the new episode tomorrow, which will be at 12 p.m. I'm back in full effect. I promise I ain't leaving. Tomorrow, portrayal of the mirror. Thank you so much. Cheers to you guys. Have a happy Saturday. See you next time.